Hey legal legend, welcome to Legal Lightbulbs, where we uncover bright ideas to power small in-house legal teams. I'm Verity White, the lucky lawyer who gets to chat with some of the smartest minds in the in-house legal world to help legal legends like you have a big impact with a small legal team. Hello and welcome back to the Legal Lightbulbs podcast. I'm Checklist Legal's legal director. Have I said the word legal enough? I'm the legal director at Checklist Legal, Verity White. Hello, legal legend. Thanks for coming along. And you are in for a treat on this solo episode of the Legal Lightbulbs podcast because it's a little metrics taster. I love metrics. It's a funny thing because a lot of legal legends do tend to shy away from metrics because I think we think, I'm a lawyer, I do words, I don't do numbers. So I think it's an interesting one, and I've definitely had my moments with metrics, that is for sure. If we want to be taken seriously by senior leadership teams, by executives, if we want to be able to demonstrate our value, if we want to be able to ask for the budget that we know we need, then we have to figure out how to use metrics. Think of it, you can't bake a cake without metrics unless you're maybe a whiz in the kitchen, and you definitely wouldn't take your car on a long, important road trip without a fuel gauge so you knew how much fuel to put in the car. So numbers are our friends, lawyers, okay, in-house legal legends. I have definitely gone through phases of metrics myself, from trying to track every single thing and then just be drowning in information but no actual insights. So I've got the data but no insights. And then avoiding metrics altogether because I was too busy to count what I was doing and too busy and important. But over time, I have had a couple of legal lightbulb moments that have completely changed how I think about numbers, and now it's at the core of everything that I do at Checklist Legal. So legal lightbulb number one was a latent demand as a metric. Oh my goodness. So when I was in-house, I actually helped automate a simple settlement agreement for a dispute resolution team. We did the right thing at the start. We gathered the data. We wanted to know how many times the team was using the agreement, how long it took to finalize each time, how much lawyer time we thought we'd save from the before and after. And we're like, okay, the numbers said we've got a case for automation here. Not that it's a very high bar when you're doing this stuff internally and you've already got the automation tool there. It can be a great way to just give someone a bit of a fun tool to play with and test out to their automation skills. But we had the case for automation, so we went for it. So we built it out, and then what was incredible for me was the fact that not only was the tool popular, but the number of contracts that we thought were automated actually were about 50% on top of that. So there was a latent demand for legal services there. Now, I don't know, the people who were previously maybe needed the settlement agreement but weren't getting one signed, I don't know if they were just doing handshakes or high fives to settle the dispute, or were the disputes just not getting settled, or were they just handing over money without an agreement in place? I'm not sure. Who knows? But what this really showed to me is, wow, when you actually start to measure things, you can see that there is a latent demand. So not only have you brought in this incredible automation that saved a lot of lawyer time, but you've actually increased access to everyday justice, access to legal services within your legal team without really that much effort at all and no extra work required from the team, but you're servicing your client, the business, better and more fully and in a way that they really need. So I thought that was actually a huge eye-opener for me. People needed legal help. They just weren't asking because the process was slow and clunky. So that metrics helped us bring out that invisible need, and then we could see how popular that tool was. So the other light bulb moment that I've had was at a board meeting where obviously I was just taking notes. I was much more junior, and a completely different context, obviously. I was in this board meeting and there were some financial challenges that this hospitality business was having. And one of the board members we were all volunteers, but they happened to be a chief financial officer at a large hospitality franchise chain, national global chain. And they asked a really interesting question, which kind of got me thinking. They're like, why is the cost of goods sold, or COGS as they call it, so high? It should be closer to this percentage number. And there's a few levers that we can pull to get it to that number. This was what was so fascinating to me, because someone with the right experience could spot within a business that this kind of magic percentage of what healthy is. And we have this with getting 10,000 steps a day, or kind of BMI, and kind of these different other metrics on health. But we don't necessarily think about the health metrics for our business or for our legal team. So I think this was really powerful to me. Wow, there are people in the world, probably in almost every industry and definitely in legal, where you could say, here's the numbers, and they could diagnose just the same way as they could say, hey, your cholesterol is too high, or hey, like this other factor is what's causing your health issues. They could say, hey, this is why your contracts are slow. Hey, this is why you've got problems within your legal team. And I think this is what is so good, because you've got to measure it to be able to manage it. Let me try that again. You've got to be able to measure that metric to be able to manage it. And that is kind of Peter Drucker 101. What gets measured gets managed. But we need to relearn some of these things in different methods sometimes, I think. So 2 powerful legal light bulb moments for me on metrics. So where do you start with metrics? And I've linked some really great resources in the show notes for you on different metrics, because I don't think it's the same for every single legal team. I don't think that everyone cares as much about contracts as I do, but some people really do have to manage a lot of external legal advisors. And so that means that kind of budget versus actual, some of those metrics will be important. So if we were to bundle these up into 3 key bundles, let's think about legal service delivery metrics. How do you show the value of what you as a solo lawyer or as your team, as a small team, are doing? Efficiency and automation. If you are automating or running transformation projects, what are those current numbers now, and what efficiencies are you gaining? And don't forget about them once you implement those efficiencies. We want to be showing, hey, by the way, remember how we brought in that tool a year or 2 ago? That means we've actually saved this much time and money. So keep reminding people of those wins. And business alignment, I think, is so key. So that is why one of my favorite things to work on are revenue generating contracts, because the sales team, the people who care about the revenue coming in, are often already tracking a lot of metrics for that. So you can start to see, okay, this is the processing time, this is the conversion rate. Oh, we've done a simplification project, and now we've really increased that conversion rate. So we're actually helping bring money into the business, which is, we want to be seen as really adding value as a legal team. So legal service delivery metrics, the number of contracts reviewed, turnaround time, number of matters or tickets that are opened and closed, and things like that. Efficiency and automation, this is time saved from automation or playbooks, how much your self-service tools are being made use of, how often people are watching training, or how many people attend training and things like that. Repeat requests from the business, any kind of process improvements around, and I work in contracts mainly, less back and forth, less rounds of negotiation because you've simplified the terms. And then business alignment. Have you contributed to revenue generation, closing that time to contract, closing that time to sign? Have you brought about cost savings? Have you reduced external legal spend on negotiations because you've come up with a really powerful playbook on contract standard terms? And then, of course, internal client or external customer ratings on satisfaction. How happy are your customers? How happy are your internal clients? So one of my favorite things to do once you've got those metrics, again, we're lawyers, we like to see things visually, I think, more than a lot of us realize. You can take those numbers and build a story out of them. You can start to make them visual. You can graph them. You can put them in charts. You can do all kinds of really amazing things with visuals. Power BI, even Canva, things like that can be so powerful. I've linked some of my favorite articles and resources on metrics below, and I have a few special metrics kind of spreadsheets that I use if you want to have a chat, and I can help you with a little bit of a contract design, audit or simplification, business case builder, let me know. Do reach out and book a chat with me, Verity White. I am the legal director at Checklist Legal. And thank you so much for tuning into the Legal Lightbulbs podcast. Thanks so much, Legal Legend. Off you go. That's it for this episode of Legal Lightbulbs. You'll find all the good stuff in the show notes, including links, resources, and guest details. If something sparked an idea for you, please share the episode with a colleague or connect with me, Verity White, on LinkedIn and let me know what resonated. It really helps me shape the show for other legal legends like you. Legal Lightbulbs is brought to you by Checklist Legal, a B Corp certified commercial law firm helping small legal teams in big brands modernise and transform the legal function to do business better. If you're thinking about kicking off your own transformation project, book in a chat today and let's make sure you kick it off on the right track. Until next time, happy contracting!